Hey everybody, we're back. This time actually still in the same game, hooray for change. And we're going to the Forgotten Tower to pay the Countess a visit. Now, we already explored the Darkwood in the last video. And we saw where the Black Marsh is, which is where Countess is located. So we're going to be heading over there, try and find the Black Marsh waypoint and find the tower. And then need to go down the 5 levels to find the Countess, put her down. Again, this isn't a super mandatory quest. Really, for being technical, none of them except in Dariel, which is the way to get to the next act, are mandatory. But this quest, or this boss in general, is sometimes killed because ever since Lord of Destruction, she became the Countess, that is, one of the primary ways to get runes. She drops them fairly often. There's certain ones she can't drop, like you're not gonna get a Zod or whatever just from killing the Countess in normal, of course. There's ranges that she can drop in each difficulty, and ultimately there are some that she just can't drop because they're out of her level range and whatnot. But in general, for farming lower, well, really any to mid-range runes, she's a pretty good source, just because she's almost guaranteed to drop a few for you. So that's why she's run often, usually not in normal. I mean, people run it in hell usually if they're doing item runs, but still, the concept carries on. Here it is, right there, Forgotten Tower. I'm gonna look around for the waypoint a bit. Now, as far as the actual quest itself, you just gotta go down there and kill her. The reward is just a chest that opens and has usually just a bunch of gold and some random drops. It's nothing particularly noteworthy, but I'm doing it anyways because playthrough, be thorough. And I mean, she's on the way, kind of. Plus, it could be nice to get some low-level runes. Might need to put them to use. The Runeword system, I know some people, mainly those who really liked classic Diablo, aren't really a fan of the system because they thought it made, alongside the addition of more sets and unique items, they just thought that like it took away from the idea of rolling on rares and whatnot. But like you just construct these rune words or look for specific types of items. They thought it became too I don't know if complicated would be the right term, or just like it just changed how the itemization of the game worked, which I guess is fair. I personally thought they were kind of fun, just because it's an interesting concept, and it makes other things more valuable, like sockets gain value from it. The whole concept of like cubing items gets a bit more value because you can like change an item from normal to exceptional and whatnot, and you want to use the socket quest in Act 5 and all that kind of stuff. Ethereal weapons can gain value for mercenaries and whatnot, or any rune word that's indestructible. I thought it added a bit of depth to the game. To be fair, I'm not someone who has a huge amount of experience just playing normal D2 to like really high levels. I mean, I played through it a while back, of course, like most people, but I wouldn't call myself a veteran of base game Diablo, so it's entirely possible I just kind of missed out on that experience. But as someone who played a bit of D2 base and then mostly played Lord of Destruction, I like the system. I think it's fun. I remember getting my first Breath of the Dying was a really fun experience. Making that Zealot just that much better. And of course there's all sorts of really silly stuff you can do, like I know some people really love their bear sorceresses and stuff that the beast rune word let you do. There's some really fun stuff there. Now, the towers on normal especially, there's a bunch of dungeons that, or maybe it's I don't know if it's all dungeons, but most dungeons, based off the difficulty, actually increase in general size and complexity. So on normal, the tower is actually relatively straightforward. You usually just need to turn like 1 or 2 hallways down, and boom, you're at the exit. So it's not that time consuming. You would think 5 levels, oh man, that's gonna take forever, but not really. It's not too bad, because we're already on the 2nd here. We're gonna find the 3rd shortly, I'm sure. Or enchanted, just get rid of him. Jawbone cap, that is a barbarian item, so not very useful for us. The main paladin items are scepters, or I think they're always called scepters, but that mace class, and then they have their own special shields. That's their 2 primary ones. There's also some circlets that are arguably related to them, but paladin shield is the main thing. Okay, here we are on level 3. Ring. Yeah, one of the advantages is I think there's almost always like a champ pack or a boss or whatever on each floor, so it's usually pretty good XP down here. Just climbing down, you run into enough stuff. Eagle orb, sorceress wand, essentially. It's just telling us to do what we're already doing, so we're gonna keep going. I'll be curious to see what the first either rune word we craft or set or unique item we find will be. That'll be fun. I'm sure it'll be something really underwhelming, but it's always fun to see what your first one is. This is a loot game after all. The loot confetti, you gotta live for it. Oh, this is quick. Walk down to 5. I'm sure. Oh, puke cloud. Oh, whoa. Didn't see he was lightning enchanted. That was dangerous. The loot hoarding can get really real in this game, and unfortunately there's not that many good ways to store gear, so a lot of people have to do mule characters, mule accounts. It's a real mess. And oof. Anyone who has ever had a lot of gear can relate to how difficult it can be to keep everything in check, because they're always just like, no, I really want to hold on to my angelic sickle. It's really important, guys. So if anyone has hoarding tendencies, this is not a wonderful game for you, because you're going to have a hell of a time. There's a Targe. That is a paladin shield, which gives all to resist. So yeah, welcome to the team. Get a bit of resistances there. Get some points into health. Like I said, I'm trying to stay relatively even on the point distribution, which is always an interesting debate. I know some people like to go, you know, every level I'll put 2 into strength, 2 into dexterity, and 1 into vit, kind of thing. Like they divvy it up in the actual level itself, while other people are just like, no, I'll just put 5 here, and then I'll put 5 here, and then I'll put 5 here. Of course, it all adds up to the same thing by the end, but I guess it's a peace of mind thing to feel like how you're progressing. I just know every time I try to convince myself to do the do a few levels at a time, shtick. I always end up like 3 strength short or something. And just go, oh man, if only I had been doing it in bulk, I would have avoided that issue. Even though it's like a confirmation bias or something. Okay. Targe and Ith. Not the worst haul. Just TP out of here. See if there's anything nice in the chest. Doesn't really look like it. Like I said, I'm not that interested in picking up all the pieces of gold, so sorry to anyone who is really specific about that, but there we go. Now you can talk to pretty much anyone in the town about this. Who do we want to talk to? Say Charcy. There we go. And she actually gives us the next quest, which is the Tools of the Trade, and gotta go fight the smith. So, that'll be the next video. I'll see you guys then.